All right, guys. Well, now that we've wrapped that up, let us finally get into our Monday Night Raw review. And the opening segment goes out of its way to create an atmosphere immediately
Yeah, you
because
know what? Here's the thing. I loved this opening segment. The first 45 minutes of this Raw were freaking excellent.
yeah, they really were, dude. I have to completely agree with you there because we see the ring is filled up with all sorts of WWE superstars and divas. John Cena's kind of standing in the center. He's got a mic in hand. Fans are booing him, of course. And, he says, hey, the authority has gathered everyone here, but I have to apologize first. I apologize, for going back on my word and bringing the authority back. And then he tries to justify his actions, saying, look, saving Edge is more important than, and then finally, Triple H's music hits, and he comes out before Cena can even finish his thought,
I
which,
love the way they treated Cena tonight because, first of all, they really didn't let him talk much. I mean, in the main event segment, he didn't say a single word into a microphone. The only words that he got in edgewise were asking Triple H if he was done, to which Triple H responded, "No, I'm not."
exactly, yeah, I loved, because you know what, if there's one thing that I feel like this Raw should have been about, and I will say that it accomplished, it was, again, the authority being back in power. I think they needed to
And
look
I have
really.
to say, I missed him. I missed the crap out of the authority.
Oh yeah, I think they bring a much needed edge to this program, and Stephanie especially. I love how into it she gets with certain things, but we'll get a little into that later because
Yeah,
just
I
some of her
mean,
things she did.
Stephanie makes Hitler seem like a pretty cool dude.
No doubt, no doubt, and Stephanie says, being sad is no way to start the first Raw of the year, and she gets the crowd hyped up. Triple H brings up Sting and calls him a painted face goof. Again, I don't really know how I feel about these
Hey, you know
jabs at
what?
Sting.
Props to Triple H for not calling him the vigilante like everyone else.
That's true, and it's certainly a better caustic remark than saying, well, maybe you just wanted to make your career relevant somehow. Yeah,
Yeah.
douche. Uh,
Here's my thing, though. If somebody is only just now tuning into the product, they probably have no freaking clue what they're talking about.
yeah, and they're probably really intrigued because they're probably thinking, Sting, what? WWE, what? And they'll want to look into it for themselves. Triple H says, WWE was a sinking ship, and now it's back to where it should be.
He
Thanks to the.
even goes as far as to mock Ho Ho Hogan, which I loved.
Yeah, I know, right? He's like, we all knew you'd be begging for us to come back, and look what you got in our absence. Ho Ho Hogan! Yeah, that was great. How about that computer general manager? So he's just running them all down, which is
I loved
fantastic.
it.
And then we get to how a heel faction should act, because Triple H then begins celebrating the one man that made it all possible, the future of WWE, as he proclaims him, Seth Rollins. I love how fortified this unit is. I wanted this with Orton so bad, but you know what? I think it's even better that it's going to Rollins because, clearly bigger upside long term. So,
Oh my god, it would be so horrible that WWE would totally do?
what's that?
Well, I mean, first of all, just to establish what you're referring to, Triple H added Seth Rollins to the WWE Championship match at Royal Rumble. So it's now a triple threat, Cena, Lesnar, and Rollins. And I think that you and I can pretty much both agree that Rollins' purpose in that match is to eat the pin.
I'm going to agree for the moment, but I'm intrigued how the remaining build-up, because again, Royal Rumble is on the 25th this year, so we've got a few more weeks, how they're going to handle this, particularly the dynamics of Rollins, Heyman, and Lesnar. That's really got me fascinated. So,
Oh, do you think Rollins going to jump ship? Or Heyman's going to jump ship?
maybe. I'm starting to formulate early
Ooh.
thoughts on the matchup, but I don't want to speak too soon. I'm going to wait for our preview.
But anyway,
predictions.
what I was getting ready to say is it would be hilarious if Cena pins Rollins for the title and then Randy Orton wins the championship and we get Cena Orton 1,000,000,001.
Oh my god, kind of booking.
Yeah, we could have had Brock versus Orton. We could have had Brock versus Bryan for those of you that want that. We could have had Cena versus Bryan. We could have had if the WWE really wanted to get their way, we could have had Brock or Cena, either one of them versus Roman Reigns, and they decide to go with the old standby.
Oh man, Ultimate Heel Faction 2015 for that main event alone. So yeah, as Ashton noted, Seth Rollins does get added to the championship match, and Triple H says, this is a new WWE and a new authority, and you're gonna get what you put in, and everyone is gonna get what they deserve. Swerve, and then he picks out Dolph Ziggler in particular, and he says, hey, bud, don't you go anywhere, because you've got an Intercontinental Championship match against the man who never even lost it. Bad news, Barrett.
I popped. I did. I really enjoyed that they made this match, and I immediately said I hope Barrett wins.
Yeah, I did as well. I certainly agreed with you there, because I feel like Dolph Ziggler is a much better chaser of just everything than as a man who has his dreams realized and is kind of floating on the cloud. Also, I think this was very smart of WWE to remember that Barrett was the former Intercontinental Champion before his injury. He never actually lost the title, so this is where like immediate title shots and title shots of this nature actually make sense to me.
Okay, you know how in every episode of TwitWow it seems my eyes get all big and a light bulb goes on over my head and I come up with this completely out of left field fantasy booking that's never actually going to happen but would make perfect sense if they decided to go with it?
Sure.
Because that just happened.
Okay, what do we got?
What if all this stuff that they're doing is to build up to Cena winning the title and Ziggler winning the Rumble?
See, and people have been saying that, and like, God, just when I thought I had the Rumble figured out, because it's Reigns, like, there is this confusion. They managed to do it every single freaking year, and I'd love it. I really would.
But it's the story that they could tell with Cena versus Ziggler, with everything happening, everything going on right now, especially with the closing segment on tonight's show, could be huge.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not denying that at all. I just, especially with the closing segment, I wonder how the logistics of it all would come together. I mean, if you want me to be perfectly honest, I know I said I was going to save it for preview predictions, but honestly, I think the addition of Rollins may potentially, and I can't stress that word enough, actually be leading into what you and I talked about last week, that Shield triple threat. I don't know, dude. Like,
yeah, see, I don't think that's happening.
Landscape's looking
especially
pretty ridiculous.
Not to main event WrestleMania 31. I mean, if it does happen, it will be non-title. There will be no title involved, and it will not main event.
Yeah, I personally think Sting may have the main event of WrestleMania this year. I'm not entirely sure, though.
Sting versus Triple H will be in that Undertaker spot where it's in the middle of the card.
Right.
It won't main event. The main event is going to be either Brock or Cena versus the Royal Rumble winner.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. But getting the focus back on Ziggler, it's just been such an interesting past couple of months for him, especially starting this year, because him and Barrett, they go at it for a little bit, but then quicker than a hiccup, Ziggler gets this pinning combination out of nowhere. He gets the win.
But Barrett's not very happy about that.
No, yeah, Barrett's got some bad news for Ziggler, and that's that he's about to get the meeting of a lifetime.
You did the thing.
Yeah, I had to. He attacks Ziggler and just beats him mercilessly. And kudos to, I believe it was Abel Ashton, because he made a terrific point. Barrett was throwing Ziggler into the security barricade and into the ring post, targeting the shoulder, which was the exact body part that Barrett had injured when he had to vacate the championship. So, good catch there, Abel. I really like that. And yeah,
how is that relevant to the storytelling of the match, though? Or is that just like Barrett wanting to inflict upon other people what was inflicted on him?
That's what I was assuming. That's what I kind of inferred, with his kind of seeing that happen. And yeah, after he just pummels Ziggler almost into dust, and he's down. Kane's music hits, and Kane did kind of get a chuckle out of me here, because he's like, man, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention something. This is a 2 out of 3 falls match. Ref, ring the bell! So
No. You forgot one thing. He said, ring the bell. Now!
Yeah.
That was about the most intimidating Kane's been in about 5 years.
I know, right?
I love it, too, because apparently tonight we saw the death of the corporate Kane and the demon Kane and the birth of Alzheimer's Kane.
Oh my God, I know, right? The forgetfulness was so real, though. Barrett nails a big boot in a wasteland on Ziggler quickly for the win. So to kind of set the score here, it's fall number 1 Ziggler, fall number 2 Barrett, and now this is where the third fall, I guess, has a little bit more back and forth, because we have the trainers checking on Ziggler. This is probably going to be like the third or fourth time that trainers have checked on Ziggler in the past couple of months with everything he's endured. And then we go back from break, and Barrett hits another big boot, and he gets the wasteland again, but Ziggler kicks out at 2. Kane's watching from ringside, and he's just reveling in all this. Barrett keeps getting all this offense and only keeps getting a successive amount of 2 counts. Ziggler tries to fight back, but, really to no avail because Barrett's just really keeping him grounded. But then, Ziggler does seem like he's finally starting to make a comeback a little bit. Because Ziggler gets his splash and a neck breaker. He kicks the knee, but he misses the famouser. Barrett gets wins of change. That's only a close 2. Ziggler blocks the bullhammer at one point and hits a super kick. So it seems like he's closing in on getting that 3rd fall. But Kane provides a distraction. Ziggler has another kick for Kane there off the apron. But then Barrett connects with the bullhammer to become a 5-time Intercontinental Champion, Ashton.
Absolutely. And I was really happy for Barrett here. As shoddy as it was, the way he won it, he beat the living crap out of Dolph Ziggler. And I honestly, at one point between the 2nd and 3rd fall, thought Ziggler was going to mount the comeback and actually manage to retain. But Barrett shut that idea down quickly.
2 things I want to ask you, Ashton, regarding Barrett. One, how do you feel about him not only just being a heel, but apparently, possibly having this association with the Authority?
Well, he was their go-to guy before he got injured.
That is true, so it's good to see him back in play. And
Yeah.
2, I know you and I have kind of had this discussion before. I think if they're really going to try and establish Barrett as this kind of like hitman, this quote-unquote professional, which I know was Cesaro's role, but it seems like they will defer to Barrett, maybe it is finally his year to win something like Money in the Bank, because, 5-time Intercontinental Champion, and depending on where he is this summer, he could be an early favorite for me to win that match. So hopefully Barrett stays healthy, because this could be an interesting year for him.
They might do Barrett-Ziggler the rematch at Mania to have Ziggler get that Mania moment.
Maybe. I'm hoping for something bigger for Dolph, though, because...
Heck, they might even decide if they can get the breakup done before then, they might have Sandow go after the IC title and have his Mania moment. What this all really boils down to is I think Barrett's going to lose the Intercontinental title to a really hot babyface at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Absolutely.
Like that's me predicting what his role at WrestleMania will be.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So here's to hoping for a prosperous year for Bad News Barrett. It's so great to have him back on our television. I really missed him, and seeing him as a heel is just fantastic. So, after that, Kane kind of celebrates with Barrett like, yay, the Authority did it. We took one guy down. And we go to our first highlight of Cena Appreciation Night. And
he showed his debut.
Debut against Kurt Angle, the go-to footage, and the handshake.
I love it, too, because it's almost like they saw last week that he was telling Edge, oh, man, we came up in this company and nobody thought we would succeed. And they were like, oh, really, John? And then they showed him almost beating Kurt Angle in his debut and is shaking Undertaker's hand.
Yeah, I know, right?
What a scumbag.
I love it. Then oh my God, you really had me going there.